Yo, what's up, JB Fitness Warriors? Today I'm coming at you with another one on mobility. Now, I think you guys need to realise just how important mobility is. So I'm going to put a little bit of a case study out there, not really a study, but whatever. Just take Clay Green and Ronnie Coleman. This was back in my bodybuilding days. Have a look at those two guys, see them do the splits, and then come to me and say, bro, I lift too much weights and I'm not flexible enough. I can't do that. That doesn't quite make the cut. So, where I'm getting this, where I'm alluding with this, is mobility is everything. Mobility meaning movement. Mobility really means three things. It means tissue restriction, joint dysfunction, and motor programming. So this one's going to be more for your tissue restriction and a little bit of joint, But what this is that sort of fix for your hip flexors. So many guys go, oh man, my hip flexors are tight. So in your hip flexors, you've got two muscles. You've got your iliacus, and you've got your psoas. You've got your psoas major, and you've got your psoas minor. Now your psoas connects from here practically up to here, up to your TL joint, which is your thoracic lumbar joint. So what it tends to do is when we sit all day in this chronically, obstruct position, it gets really tight. And when it gets tight, it's just another way to protect you really. It down-regulates to that position. When it gets tight, you get stuck there. So now that becomes sort of permanent. So what we have to do is we have to think firstly, not about mobility, but how our day-to-day position can affect inherently our training. So not only am I going to show you this, but what I want you to think about quickly as homework is I want you to think about sitting. So if you're at the desk all day and you're sitting, I want you to think about sitting switched on. Back flat, butt tight, like you can squat up. Not sitting with that sort of reversal of the pelvis, shearing tension through here, chronically tight hamstrings, hip flexor gets tight, etc. So that's one thing. I have to put that out there because this exercise, this mobility drill will not work unless you take care of the business, right? So this mobility drill, like I said, for the hip flexor, unlocks that hip flexor. Hip flexor is renowned for pulling you into that hyperextensive position, which causes a lot of local extension through the lumbar, and that's why we see a lot of problems with your, people's L1 and L5. I broke in L1, I've got a compression fracture of L1, and I've got degeneration in L5, 6S. So there it goes. And I had chronically tight hip flexors from sitting all the time and lordosis or hyperextension. So what I'm going to get you to do, I'm going to get you to get into this foot fiber. I'm going to get you to put this ball outside. So you want the ball, the foot flat, and I want your foot outside line of your hip. From where your pelvis is facing forward, you're not facing this way, you're facing forward, drive that knee down from your head to your hip to your knee. I want it one straight line. So I don't want you thinking about arching forward because that puts that bad boy back into flexion, meaning it's not stretching. So what I want you to think about is I want you to think about organising yourself. When you take that organised position, like that, flat, not broken, that's when your hip flexor is stretching. So that's where you want to catch it, to extend it. To make some actual change in the muscle. So flex, butt tight, thrusting the butt, aligned, not sitting forward, aligned. 1 and 2, aligned. Drive the knee out. Flex both hips. From here, extend up. Now, if this isn't enough, most people this will be tight enough. It's going to hit your rectus femoris. It's also going to hit your hip flexor. If this is not enough, I want you to twist up and sort of spirally twist, or just catch that hip flexor and twist and pull a little bit more by screwing in like this and reaching over and keeping that position, not unlocking that position. So as you keep your back flat, reach up, extend over. Butt tight. Thrust. Now what I want you to do is do a bit of PNF, proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. All I want you to do is contract, relax. So push the ball in, flex the butt in extra hard. If that's what, extra hard. Flex. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relax. Do that a couple more times. Now I'm going to prescribe to you guys you do this about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. None of this measly 30 seconds. So you sit here to make some tissue change, as studies show, you have to do about 2 minutes. If you're doing 40 seconds, it might return it to resting length. It's not going to make change in the muscle. So that's what I want you guys to do. Think about that. Wind up as a progression. Drive this knee out and keep on. Contract, relax. Do about 3 or 4. And that's it for today. Give it a crack. Before or after doesn't matter. See how you guys go. See if you get a little bit of relief through there. And what it should translate into is a little bit of a deeper squat without having to arch the back or pulling you into a bad position. So let me know how you go, guys. Give it a crack. See you later.